GM, welcome back. We are here live. We are live talking about Gunzilla off the grid, and I got a stacked panel here. We're going to break down everything that is happening today, everything that's going on. Want to talk a little bit about what's the platform, the insane, unreal numbers that we've been seeing, but also the team behind this. All in all as well, Piers from Delphi also giving us the insights on what's happening in gaming. So stacked panel. Vlad, how are you? What's going on, man? Welcome to the show. Excited to kick this off. But I'm going to ask you two questions to kick off the conversation here, Vlad. What's your favorite game growing up? And if it is, what is your favorite game? What's your favorite character that you wish you could be in Web3 gaming?
Hello, everyone, and thank you for inviting us here, George. And I love this question. By the way, I know that Piers knows the answer on this question. What's my favorite game from my childhood? Yeah, because we've been playing it together several times recently. And my favorite game from my childhood and let's say late childhood, is Half-Life. And this is the game what changed everything for me and made me addicted to gaming for sure. And I was so involved into this industry since I played this game first, and even now, picking up some inspiration when we're playing it together with peers and enjoying it together. By the way, with Neil, who enjoys it very much too.
Piers, $1 million question. Who's the better gamer, though?
Vlad's not great at shooters. I'll say it straight up. So,
hey, we have it here live on the recording.
I'll drop him in a 1v1. I'm quite confident. But
Piers, give me, what's your favorite game growing up, man?
RuneScape. I played a lot of RuneScape with my brothers. It was a lot of fun. Sunk many years into that. But then shooter-wise, until OTG came along, Rainbow Six is probably my favorite shooter that I sunk thousands of hours into, and love the intensity of it.
I just finally put the picture in my head of you running Delphi, understanding why you're so good at understanding investments. It's because of the RuneScape background, bro. That's the alpha right there. You know? So, David, I know you're the guy behind all of it right now. I've been getting to get to know you for the past couple of days, and I'm starting to realize exactly what the title should be. So, David, give us a quick introduction. Who are you, and what's your favorite game growing up, man?
Hey guys, so I'm the exec producer here at Gunzilla, looking after OTG. It's going to date me. I am quite old if I tell you my favorite games. Galaxians, Elite, the original Elite on the BBC Electron. Frack, amazing. Thought the graphics were amazing. Ridge Racer, the original Ridge Racer on the PlayStation. I thought at that time, oh my God, how can graphics get any more realistic than this? You look back at it now and they can get a lot more realistic. World of Warcraft, Half-Life, Zelda, starting with the big shooters, Wolfenstein, Doom, loved playing those. Quake was terrible at them, absolutely terrible. Remember playing it in the office and just getting beaten all the time.
David, you're at the office all the time. You tell me, who is the better gamer in the office, though?
In the office of my days, you do not want to meet up with the meta team, Nikita. You don't want to meet Dima, the tech director. You are just going to get pounded by those guys. But yeah, nor do I want to be online against peers, to be honest.
I love it. I love the takes, and I love being able to really get all of us in the room, talk a little bit about what's been happening the past couple of weeks. Look, I've been seeing the timeline for the past 6 months or so, and it's been just nothing but bullish catalyst. Everything from the packs, the content packs. I truly believe that the content packs are the way that we are really getting to more users, to retaining more users, but to bring creativity to gaming, right? I think if you look at the gaming right now in the whole Web 2, not just Web 3, there is a lack of creativity. There is constantly reskins, right? I mean, we're on what number of Call of Duty, what number of Grand Theft Auto, what number, God, it's all remakes. I went to the movie theater this weekend and it was Mission Impossible again. It was, all these movies like Jurassic Park again. And I'm like, whoa, have we not been able to bring some sort of new entertainment into gaming or just into entertainment at all? And here you guys are. You guys have been delivering some of the coolest content packs, bringing a little bit of the cheekiness into gaming, bringing in players to be themselves, but really to connect them even further with the companion app, with everything between the app, the content pack, the companion app, and then as well as the Guns platform, to give those that do ever want to have that ability to understand blockchain or crypto, if they ever want to go deep dive into that, what that is all about. I'd love for us to kick it off with the platform itself, right? Helping us understand that platform is super in understanding. And Piers, I've seen you write some great articles on the platform itself. Love for you to give us the take coming into this conversation of why a platform like this is transforming gaming, delivering a better gaming experience, and why do you think the future of gaming is building on blockchain, giving these kind of technology powers to get better immersive experiences?
Yeah, for me, it's like we don't even need to like dramatically complicate what we're going after sometimes, right? I think we've already seen time and time again the scale of some of these like virtual goods economies, right? Virtual goods economies. We've seen, Fortnite scale to where it got to, doing billions upon billions of dollars a year and sort of like one-way transactions where people have no residual value for their purchases on the one hand. And it's great, right? They've delivered an entertainment product that people are willing to pay for. And then on the other, we've seen stuff like Counter-Strike Go emerge, right? Where we put out a report led by Jackal on our team that showed that, there was over $32 billion of secondary market volume in a 5-year period on these skins, right? These are material asset classes in their own right now. We've recently seen CSGO skins pushing like all-time highs in terms of market caps, right? There's like a generation that's grown up and has chosen to invest and spend and speculate on economies around the games that they love, these places where they want to spend time. And so I think delivering a world-class entertainment experience like OTG with, for the first time, a fully on-chain economy that exists beyond just like the Steam marketplace, which is actually deeply restrictive in terms of maximum wallet balances, the fees associated with it, and things like that. With a fully transparent marketplace technology that gives people the ability to sort of participate in those economics, see without a shadow of a doubt what's going on in the economy behind the scenes. If they're lucky enough to loot a really rare in-game item from their hexes, like. Or own a validator NFT, for example, that decodes that. There's perpetual royalties on it. For me, it's all about just, bringing economic agency to users, which has already been, the demand for that has already been proven by these existing proof points that we've seen in these other major economies. And so for me, that's what I'm super excited about here. And then, obviously I genuinely believe that these guys here have built a world-class shooter. I love some of the stuff you touched on in terms of, the lore, the cheekiness, the edginess of Gunzilla. Like, I think this is genuinely a fresh gaming experience that's bringing something new to the shooter arena. And so, it's very exciting to see, this thesis that I've always loved of like on-chain economies be married with something that I believe is, genuinely a very exciting shooter product.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the money right there with understanding where this is going and understanding why you believe that it should be married, right? Because there is a lot to understand still. I think technology sometimes something that's very overpowering. Sometimes technology could, for all of us, even, I say this, I use my phone to pay for a lot of my goods nowadays, right? And you have to tell them Samsung Pay or Apple Pay, but it's really NFC, like the technology behind that allows you to do that. The same thing is happening here in gaming and in Web3 and in crypto, right? As payment rails are very much taking over in the way that we are paying others. We are seeing different ways of to bring on-chain, and what does on-chain really mean? And so I think that bringing this to gaming is the perfect use case that a lot of us have been here to say, this is product market fit. this is what it would look like. Now we just have to deliver an experience that is truly at the forefront of what gaming is. And that's building a fun game, a great game, entertaining gamers, giving gamers what they want. And at the end of the day, what gamers, we all lose, and we're very sore losers. And so we know we want to yap and complain about losing. And so the more that you see on the timeline about, the yapping of win this, win that, means you are doing a hell of a job, right? Because these guys are entertained, they're playing, and this is all happening. David, I'll turn it over to you so we can go into Vlad next. But David, you come from a rich history in working in gaming. You hear this that's coming right now into Web3. You hear about how this could be transformative, right? You've been through many cycles of gaming itself, and you've just even described some of the games from the past. We've seen technology constantly power gaming. It's always been what's transformed gaming to the next level. If it's from your TV, that you now all have 4K TVs from our tube TVs, or it's from the console itself to now having internet, to now having Ethernet, like all that, it's always transformed it. David, how did you see this as the next transformation of gaming when you are coming to say, okay, I want to join this team, I want to build this because this is being at the forefront of cutting edge technology?
Okay, so there were several things really that got me excited about both Gunzilla and Off the Grid. It's the passion, the excitement, the innovation, everything we're doing, innovative. We've got to make a great game. That's just, market entry. If you don't make a great game, then you're not going to succeed. You need to make an experience that you can't get anywhere else. And I think that's what OTG delivers, something really exciting, really compelling. The technology, for me as a gamer, I always look at the technology as an enabling function. I don't come because there's specific technology. I come because the technology has been utilized in a way that gives me real benefit. So as a player of games, I'm immersed, I'm engaged, and I want to feel ownership of what I'm picking up. If I do that in any other games, if I do it in a shooter or an RPG, now really feeling ownership and that becoming real, so that exists in the game, but also outside of the game. And other people are interested in my ownership and their ownership, and we can trade that ownership. That's what really excites me. It's always, what does it enable us to deliver to the gamer as a benefit for the gamer?
Exactly it. And it's always the gamer at the forefront of everything that you're building.
Exactly,
and I think
exactly.
you just hit it.
Yeah, we look at other areas. And I think where this came from, I remember sitting with Vlad very, very early days chatting about whether we got involved together. And it was always that passion for doing something innovative, something different, and bringing something new to the forefront. And I saw that passion, that we didn't want to do what other games were doing. And we were looking for a game in the Web3 space. And I don't want to diss anybody else, but there weren't the games that we really wanted to play. Why could we not find a really great AAA shooter that benefited from that technology? So Vlad had already sat down and worked out the different ways that could happen, and we're now implementing a bunch of those things. So it's, again, sorry to sound like a broken record, starting with the core of that game.
Yeah, no, I think exactly why I think it's so really like being able to hear you even say it again, but reinforce that, right? Because I think like while you're building all this, sometimes you do get lost in the sauce, right?
Yeah,
and sometimes you just do have to look at the 10 commandments or whatever it is that you guys have and say, okay, this is why we're here, why we're building this, why we need to deliver. And look, I think like turning it over to Vlad, right? We heard Piers and his thought on where Web3 gaming and why it's so important on chain. You heard David a little bit talk about the vision and how it really made sense. But Vlad, the game now, it's been released. The numbers with testnet have been unreal, super impressive. They are numbers that we have not seen in Web3. The barrier has been pushed. You guys are definitely setting something new right now in Web3. talk to us right now about exactly what the next phase of all of this could really mean, right? When we look at numbers of being able to connect Web 2 gamers to Web 3 technology, how does that even understand? How do we even comprehend that, right? It's such a still like, man, like something we haven't all figured out just yet, but we are about to, right? As mainnet could be possibly around the corner, right? All these things that are happening around the corner as well, like that are very, very big for you guys. But again, taking the right approach, slow, making sure you're listening to the feedback, make sure you're testing the product. It's so important to test the product, bringing out content packs, bringing out feedback from the content packs. All of this, the way you guys have delivered it has been something that's unique to what Web3 has not seen yet. Talk to us right now about that. It's an example of, hey, where does testnet take us next?
Sure, would love to. First of all, would like to highlight that maybe some part of our audience today is not aware that to reach this level of quality and this level of success, we had to spend almost 5 years to develop OTG. And we've been working on this game, not in a chill mode, but in a beast mode. That's what I would say. Trying to hack each system, each process of which is very common for developing games, to make it more cost efficient, to bring better quality for our players, and to innovate. This is why you can see that OTG truly follows the definition of AAA gaming, because for us at Gonzilla, it means that the game, which is called AAA, should be innovative and better, stronger, almost in all of the areas comparing to its competitors, which were released earlier. So the game should push the boundaries of existing technologies. And this is what we've been working on so hard. This is why this 5 years of work, and at peak Gonzilla, Gonzilla had 430 employees working hard to deliver this amazing game to our players, to our beloved community, and of course continues developing many parts of our vision, which still hasn't fully unfolded. There are several important parts of our roadmap which I would say prepare us for the real final push in the right direction. What I mean by final push, it means that this is the moment where we can turn on our marketing engine and user acquisition engine using the full throttle and the full capacity of resources which we have. But there are several events which we are waiting, which we expect to happen prior to, let's say, attracting as many players as possible on a daily basis and getting in the list of at least top 3 battle royales on the market by daily active audience. This is what we're aiming for, at least. And among these aims, there are 2 very important milestones which we, again, plan to achieve this month. First of all, I would like to start with one of the most important ones, the launch, the OTG launch on Steam. And our team spends, again, numerous nights, day and nights to deliver OTG using this most famous publishing platform worldwide, and make OTG available on this platform. By the way, I would like to highlight that we planned to release on Steam a little bit earlier, but last moment it took us again some small changes which Steam requested us to, I would say, cosmetic changes which we had to implement into the game to be fully officially to be available to release our builds. And we already passed all the checks, and we're ready to release OTG. And currently, we're only to release OTG on Steam, and currently we're only preparing for the proper marketing campaign around this event, which is very important for us because since we launched OTG, we understood that Steam is so important for us to be able to effectively utilize each dollar spent on user acquisition. Because as we know today, there's still a significant chunk of audience which prefers Steam over any other platform. And by the way, according to public reports of major analytics companies, that the percentage of user base among gamers who are playing AAA games, which are using PC as their main gaming platform, grows every year. And currently, so when we started developing OTG, we aimed at the audience split between, let's say, 65% of users which we expected that would play OTG using consoles, and rest 35% using PC. So we expect that next year this percentage will be different, and PC users will represent about 50% of active user base of the most successful battle royales, including OTG. So this is why Steam is so important for us, not only because we expect a huge, significant event which will attract instantly a significant portion of new users, but we want to properly utilize our marketing efforts in the right way, and Steam is absolutely necessary part of our go-to-market strategy. And this is the moment which we're waiting so much to be able to truly unfold all our marketing efforts today. This is the first part. And second, of course, something what our loyal user base has been waiting for so long, the official launch of our integration with OpenSea. By the way, this integration has been completed, and we're just waiting for in coming days to provide access to first our most loyal audience who subscribed for OTG Pro, and we will be able who subscribed for OTG Pro subscription in July last year. By the way, the first zeros who joined OTG started playing this game 12 months ago, almost a year ago. It's a significant event. And shortly after checking the full functionality and allowing our most loyal audience to utilize the full functionality of our integration with OpenSea, which natively supports integration with Ganzi, we're planning to open the access to the whole mainnet user base, which will be able to utilize this feature and will be able to trade their in-game items using OpenSea. And of course, it will include an ability to withdraw their in-game items even directly to their friend's wallet address or their friend's account. So it was our dream from the very beginning to give our players the full control over their in-game items. So users will be able to, so I'll be able, starting from this month, to make a gift to peers, for example. And again, I'll be able to send my favorite rifle from OTG directly to his wallet address if we'd like to make him a gift, for example. So we can't wait for these two events, which will happen very soon after our partnership. Let's say after our technical launch with of our integration with new blockchain which Ganzi will support with Solana. So this is why we want to increase the level of adoption for our token, which is used in our ecosystem before the next upcoming milestones, which are coming very soon.
Vlad with the alpha. I was thinking about muting you a couple times because I didn't want you to give out too much alpha and get everybody going. But I appreciate you just the transparency, the communication, and being so open. I think like it's so great to be able to have this type of conversation and for you to let us know the roadblocks that it does take to be listed on Steam, the roadblocks it does take to be listed on PlayStation, Xbox. I think that there's something in this space sometimes that doesn't get talked about, and that is the legal, the game, the experience that it takes to be able to work with massive publishers in Web2 gaming. There is very much a checklist of the things that they demand. There is a checklist of things that they require, and they go back and forth. And even if you fill out the checklist, there still is something new or something there that just didn't fit the checklist that we thought did. And so I think it's so important that the everybody that's just listening and seeing it and seeing a game like this emerge and seeing the game emerge and be able to break through some of these barriers like you guys have been with PlayStation and Xbox and now Steam is something that I think everybody, even the first zeros that were here from a year ago to still be here, it shows a true testament to what builders and how builders are building in Web3. Piers, you heard a little bit of Vlad, you've heard a little bit from David. We turn back to you and tell us like, we heard what it's like to be experiencing with publishers. We heard what it's like to be building, especially in Web3. As you are seeing Web3, as you are seeing it evolve, and you're seeing outside of gaming evolve Web3 itself, technology's finally getting more adaptive. We're seeing, ETFs, we're seeing institutional money really start flowing in now. As you are positioning yourself and working with as well, advising Gunzilla and everything that here we are today, what are the things that you think it needs for a technology standpoint for gaming to break through? We think this is definitely the game that will do it. But anything else that you think from a technology standpoint, Web3 standpoint, that needs to break through for us to really now put on like jetpacks and start flying faster?
I feel like we're largely most of the way there, I think, from a technology perspective, right? There's still a number of like UX avenues, I'd say, that would materially enhance things. Like, for example, the guys have recently added the ability to buy like packs of gun in game with their credit card. I think there needs to be increased ways for, users that are experiencing this purely through the Web2 lens, basically making it more seamless to actually interact with the marketplace and the economy. I think there's, some exciting stuff that we've sort of teased recently in terms of what users might be able to expect for the future Gunz website and marketplace, like these additional trade avenues that people that play the game, come in, buy a currency pack, trade something up using the in-game marketplace. They're like, oh shit, there's this whole sort of meta piece where I can go and access my wallet outside of the game and, actually interact with the economy like that. I feel like, for example, like the Gunz wallet, the app, all of this kind of stuff, has a couple of more iterations. Obviously, still on the early access track. Like, I'm very excited by all the stuff that's happening in game at the moment, but I think it's important for people to remember that, we still have a way to go before like the full sort of global release. And it's basically just tightening up all of those nuts and bolts broadly that are going to make it even more seamless for that sort of Web2 funnel to actually come and experience, the stuff that we're all excited about and kind of the joy of that economic agency I spoke about earlier and being treated like, an actual admin, an actual owner, and not just being told and handed a series of trade-offs and restrictive sort of policies around what you can and can't do with your own assets. And then I think around the sort of Web3 stuff broadly, like, myself and our team, we've been big proponents of gaming, of a lot of the sort of like consumer crypto stuff out there. And I mean, I think we can honestly say that like, it's been very challenging. Like a lot of the consumer crypto stuff that we all perceive to be much more imminent, perhaps back in like 2020, 2021 has taken a lot longer to play out. I think some of the theses we've been, stuff like on some of the like social, Web3 social, all of that kind of stuff. Like, I really truly believe that like the strongest possible shot on goal in terms of a consumer breakout that comes out of this world, comes out of crypto, remains gaming. I think it's been, you know, a really hard fought journey. Like a lot of teams have gone through, you know, some very arduous journeys to get here. But I mean, I now have, you know, a few hundred hours of playtime in OTG, right? This is a game that I genuinely love, not because I have bags. This is a game that I would be fascinated by if I came across it, you know, on a you know, Steam Up Next or anything like that. And so, yeah, I think it's a question of, you know, continuing to iterate and deliver on the content roadmap, basically heading into the full global release, and continuing to sort of, yeah, grease those avenues, grease the wheels in terms of how can, you know, the Web2 funnel actually drive people to sort of this on-chain footprint and kind of, you know, in a very delicate manner, sort of bring them there. Because yeah, I think that's what the name of the game is from here.
Yeah, I think you hit some great thoughts too as well. Of I think that there's also been some sort of misunderstanding in the space of how easy it is to build in blockchain, right? How easy it is to say, hey, yeah, let's drop the technology on there and yeah, let's figure it out. It's just gonna work. It's a lot more than that, right? There's a lot more integrations to it. There's a lot more resources needed to be able to power a game. And I think that for me, it's when I look at Gunzilla and I look at Off the Grid, they built the game, they built a kick-ass game. And so you got the product market fit. The next stuff, the technology stuff, is now the integration standpoint. Whereas a lot of games, sometimes they go and try to build the Web3 stuff first before even getting to the game and building the game at, like, you know, at paces. And sometimes the resources to all that don't have or equate to actually building out that game that they really wanted to build. And so like this is where things get really exciting, because we see now Gunzilla, like Vlad just said, looking at Steam and how do you get on Steam and how do you break through to Steam, right? You take a time out for a second and you look at the banking industry and you look at 2013 when everybody was saying Bitcoin's fake internet money. It's 2025 and every single bank offers crypto. Every single bank in the United States offers crypto. You look at gaming and you look at the past couple years from Xbox, PlayStation, you look at the patents they've looked at, you look at PlayStation having a say now with their own chain within Web3. We are very much seeing that happen again, where they are very much looking at technology and how do they adapt to it. The issue is there isn't a case study for them to say, this is how it works. I got it. All we need is the marketplace. Oh, you know what? We will take the token too. We haven't seen any of that. And right now, Gunzilla is positioning themselves to be the case study, but beyond the case study, to be the game that everybody within, as bigger names and as bigger publishers, start looking and saying, okay, how do we work with you? How do we work with you and on different levels, right? And that's where I think that one thing that I don't think consumers understand is there's a revenue gate that gets opened very, very quickly, right? The revenue gate opens up where now people want to get involved in sponsoring billboards and sponsoring content packs and getting involved. And that is truly where we are going in very much the near future. And I think, like, if you're here and you're listening and you're watching, this is the things that you are betting yourself. Like you bet yourself on the game, you bet yourself on the infrastructure, but now you want to bet yourself on what's next. And I think that's exactly what this conversation has been, is like, wow, look at it. Look at all these guys building here, why they're here and what they're building. And now we have peers playing, and we're not going to judge you. We're gonna let you do your thing here. We promise we won't make any comments. We'll let you concentrate. If you die, you die. You know, might say a couple things here or there, but hey, David, we just seen talk a little talk about this, right? I could relate with you with being old school. I remember having the Game Boy and then plugging in the wire to be able to trade assets with somebody else on another Game Boy, right? Like, there you go. Once again, it's the technology, the 3.5 jack that you had to like plug in to do this. We're now at the point where it's like, man, it's gonna be, hey, Vlad dot whatever, and I'm gonna send him my favorite gun. Hey, David dot whatever, or David's wallet or whatever. We are very much there, right? And that is just being able to get there. The companion app allows you, and the wallet that the Web3 has, man, now is really transforming how we're going to be able to interact with other gamers. Talk about tournaments, talk about prizes, talk about having friendly wagers on a Friday night, having a couple beers, pizza, wings, and just being able to like say, hey, I'll put this on the line. You want to go real quick? So that is where gaming is getting to the next level. And I'm not saying that it doesn't already exist. There are things that exist that give great gaming experiences. But crypto and blockchain and Web3 are allowing us to do something that's been different. And if you look at the roadblocks or the barriers that we faced in Web2 gaming, these are the things that everybody was saying, like Piers was saying, man, blockchain could really do something that's been a struggle for us in many years. So David, with what you've heard, what we've talked about, as you look back at the trajectory of gaming in itself, and you look at as an executive producer for Gunzilla, for Off the Grid, what are the things that you're looking at right now to be able to keep pushing the game forward that are, if it is content packs, if it is weapons, if it is something that is very much unique, where do you see that right now?
Okay, yeah. So there's lots and lots of stuff that we're doing, and you reminded me of the difficulties that innovators always face. I remember trying to get my Dreamcast online, first of all, and trying to put in a disc and connect it and plug in something at the back of it, and now, you know, switch on my console, ping, it's online, my friends are already there connected. So there's a principle that's, forgive my sort of management nerd coming out now, there's a fantastic principle that I like to try and apply and get the team to understand. It's called the Maya principle: most advanced yet accessible. Steve Jobs was a fantastic proponent of this. How do you make something that is innovative and moves you forward, yet it's still accessible? How do people get into it? You've got to do something new, otherwise you're moving backwards. But gamers and humans love something that's familiar. So we are looking at tournaments, leaderboards. We are looking at more live ops events, more things to add into the game to keep you coming back. I can't reveal too much about it, but imagine, you know, different rules, different rule variants for each of the maps, different sections of the map. You've seen our content packs, you've seen our battle passes, you've seen the quality and the variety that we can produce in the content. What we're now doing is exploring the variety that we can add in the gameplay. As people are learning how to fly around the island, how to manage the limbs and find that meta, we're looking at how to mix it up, how to make it more interesting, more engaging, so that when, you know, if you play on a Wednesday afternoon, maybe there's different rules to the mode. We're also trying to make things more smooth, reduce some of the friction that we see in there, and certainly in the marketplace. We see some of the things that we need to improve in terms of the accessibility of the marketplace, the usability of it, the ease of navigation. There are lots of things that we are working on. We've got a very, very full roadmap of improvements that we want to make.
Yeah, I think that it's exactly that. It is staying at the front of what innovation should look like and staying at the front of what gamer experience should look like. And I think that, you know, it's great to hear that you are at that forefront. You are constantly looking at how do you improve it? What is the accessibility issues that you are facing? What are gamers right now facing with issues within the game right now? And how do you improve that? How do you give them what they want as well? Because again, they are the ones that are playing the game, and we want to have that retention level at where it is. Vlad, we heard David, we heard Piers. We're coming around at the top of the hour here. We have been building, you have been building this for the past 5 years. We as Web3 gamers have been here for the past 5 years. Our patience is running low, as you could probably see. Our bags are probably very much low, as Piers mentioned before. You know, Web3 gaming is definitely getting very much at the point of, you know, the lifeline or the CPR. Someone needs to plug it in. But you guys have been showing us that it's about patience. This game is about patience and doing this the right way and not rushing it. as much as the comments sometimes, as much as the speculators out there are saying, hey, man, where is OpenSea? Where is Steam? And all these things, patience is what wins this game. Patience is what wins the game in the long run, because you're able to really sit down and have the right strategy, have the right game plan, and roll out the game the right way without having to rush anything. And I think that's been something I really heard loud and clear from you after today's conversation, and even from the team here. It's like, hey, Rome wasn't built overnight. Like, it's something that they always says. But going into what's next, zooming out to the breakthrough, zooming into the speculation, zooming into the gameplay, where do you want to be when it comes down to having the proper way to have a healthy economy, healthy marketplace, healthy game, healthy player base, all these, the companion app? How do you tie this to say this is where we, like, 2024 has been nothing but building. 2025 gets us to where we are. How do you bring it home? How do you bring this completely home to say, hey, the next launch of Steam, OpenSea, will be this?
Yeah, I have some stuff to share about, let's say, our daily routine. How are we getting there? I still would like to say that I truly believe that even though, again, lots of our supporters and maybe community members are not seeing how hard we're working daily to achieve our aims and to deliver everything what we are committed to and what we envision. I truly believe that we're rushing it as much as we can, but doing it right. And I think that our big difference comparing to other companies, and this is where Gonzilla is definitely a leader, as well as in the game quality and the level of adoption, is that we're building a regulatory base, not only for us, but for other games and other companies which are going to utilize Ganzi to build their own community-driven economies. So this is why when the first generation of gaming blockchains, of Web3 games, when they just came up with an idea, oh, let's put in-game items on chain. Let's let users, for example, let's provide them a feature which will allow them to send in-game items to each other. Besides of coming up with this idea, Gonzilla had, because we have a 10 years legit strategy for all our products, and we have to verify with legal advisors all our actions across the globe before we add any feature, not to violate any of the guidelines, not only of different regulatory parties worldwide, but our publishing partners, because we don't live in vacuum. We have partners who help us distribute our game, like PlayStation, Xbox, Epic Games, soon Steam. This is why, for us, because we're the very first company which opens the doors for Web3 gaming and for on-chain economies, to be able to create, let's say, to lead the path for other companies which will be which won't violate any regulatory requirements worldwide. And this is why we have to be careful with each step we make, and be sure that any other company which today utilizes Ganzi and will utilize our technologies won't get into any regulatory trouble. And I think that this is the superpower of Ganzi, not only a technology, because we know that today there are several other gaming blockchains which exist in the market, but we believe that we are the only solution which allows other AAA game developers to use, let's call it, a white box solution from technology standpoint of view and from a regulatory standpoint of view, which allows them to launch on-chain economies so fast and feel safe, again, by seeing us already being live worldwide and scaling the level of our adoption daily. and be sure that they can utilize these technologies. So I want to make sure everyone who, for example, thinks about what's the next step for Gonzilla, what prevents us from moving faster somewhere, please also always be sure that before we make any step, we think several times and we try to make it as safe as possible, because every action we do with a 10-year strategy ahead. This is the first thing, and this is what I would like highlight. What I would like to highlight
Yeah, I
about
mean that's
our go-to-market
that's
strategy.
that's just right there, absolutely the perfect way to say it. I mean, you are looking at everything from a 5 to 10 year window and looking at your long-term partnerships, and being legally complacent is probably the toughest thing to say out of all of it, because as we know, that is just a whole different world. And being able to say, hey, how do we legally be able to keep growing with new technology that not everybody knows about, and still be able to bring and deliver Gonzilla to everybody's homes, consoles, PCs, wherever that is. I think, man, that was definitely a clippable moment right there. Vlad, I know we're at the top of the hour. Quickly, 5 seconds. What's the most underrated feature in all of Gonzilla? Is it a feature in the companion app? Is it a gun? Is it a hiding spot in the game? Give me your most underrated feature in the game.
Underrated by our community or by our partners, or let's select this group. I can say what is my favorite feature about OTG, which is not as common, because some people may say that OTG is about replacing limbs. But I remember, David remembers this moment, when we made an activity to bring our development directors outside of our office last year, David, if I'm not mistaken, when we focused on highlighting again on when we focused on releasing the game basically, and defining our marketing strategy, and our technical director said that, guys, I believe that the coolest feature in our game today is flying. So I would say that, it's a very common feature which all of us who are playing OTG, which we use every time we play. But I think that it's so satisfying how you can fly and utilize the jetpack. And even though it's such a simple feature, right, and everyone can say that it's a very common feature that you can fly, right? But I think the way we developed it in OTG, it's so unique and satisfying. Pierce, thank you for showing off our jetpack right now. I think that this is the most common feature, but I would say my favorite one, the way we developed it. And George, if you don't mind, I would like to just make one addition to something what I said before. That for everyone who is watching the stream, and for all our supporters, community, gamers, and everyone, I just want to say that, guys, besides of thinking, right, so resolving regulatory, not challenges, but let's say goals, right, resolving technical issues, right, we need to think every day how to keep the company successful and be successful on all of the fronts, not only in Web3 part of our game, not only in the tech side of our game, right? We need to continuously evolve, because if you stay at the same spot, you will die very soon. So our aim is to become stronger and better in everything what we're doing daily, right? And I can say that we're not tired. Our hearts are beating with the same attitude and with the same passion as 5 years ago, right? We're hungry for the success. We're still not there, and we won't stop until we get there. And you can be a part of this journey by playing OTG daily. So
now you just need to do the mic drop, because that was exactly the best way to end it. I'll wrap it with 2 seconds. Piers, give me your most underrated feature in the game.
I wanted to say movement. I mean, people love it, but I'd say sniping. The sniping feels so fucking good. I've sniped in every game I've ever played, but honestly, connecting with a fully charged piercer shot, knocking someone out the air, I mean, it's gold.
David,
Limb
close us
synergies.
home.
Limb synergies in your team, picking the right combination of limbs together. I think if you can put together a team that can have the limbs that you've matched with each other, you'll be unbeatable.
There you go.
Work
Another
together.
stream. Thank you all. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate everybody that's watching. We'll be having a lot, many more of these. We're here to talk more about what's building, what's behind the scenes, and what's going to be going forward. So thank you for tuning in. Everybody, have a great day.
Guys.
Take care.
Catch you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.